Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. Today we're pulling from the Game of Thrones tarot cards. We pulled from this earlier in the week. So they're calling for strength. So things are switching, things are developing quickly. This is still up in the air. This will vary from situation to situation. But they're saying to call upon strength. So in my situation, what I was told, I guess every circumstance is different, but you know, it's like things are developing, and I feel like it's like, with myself, I'm lucky enough that I get channel messages, and it's like I could prepare. So we'll do what's necessary for that preparation. The timing is kind of, it is what it is, but it's like preparing for that situation so it could be flawless as possible, where you don't have to stress about it. And that's the biggest thing, is not to stress about this. And I know that's easy to say when you're not in this situation, but this is definitely go with the flow kind of situation. That's why I'm just like, do what you can. There is some developing information, so there's a healing taking place. This is from the past. So retrograde happening with Mercury retrograde, Pluto retrograde. So because Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, you're going to feel a lot more emotions. And this is where it's just like some of these emotions may not feel like your own. It's just the heaviness of the energy. So they're showing, what is that one? All tied up from the energy oracle cards. And this is where they're saying, like, watch that you're not putting yourself in a self-imposed prison. You may be the person that's helping someone heal. They're bearing their heart, they're bearing their soul. Let them talk. Because sometimes it's like that's what they need. They need to talk, and it's like everybody knows that's gone through situations. When you talk, you feel a lot better, because it's like you relieve that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a hot air balloon. You keep on putting all this pressure in it, it's going to pop. So, the more we can decompress it, the better that situation will start to develop. This is the starting of the wheel moving forward. So starting of the wheel, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, the Wheel of Fortune, when things start to move forward. So there is forward momentum, you know what I mean? Some people's wheels are moving really fast. Some people's wheels, that, like, especially something that needs to take healing, let the healing begin. You know what I mean? It's like not everybody is going to figure it out. That's why I keep on saying, like, just because it looks like this today does not mean that it's going to look like that tomorrow. So with the King of Spears, following your intuition, this is key. So we keep getting this, following your intuition. So like with myself, getting channel messages, writing them down. I didn't have time today to actually like look up definitions or anything like that. So I'll do that tonight. But it's just like showing spirit, I am open to receiving your messages. I am open to the information you want to give me. You know what I mean? They are chatty. So sometimes you gotta be like, I'm exhausted. I would love to hear everything that you want to say. Like, trust me, I do, but I need to rest, but if you're getting the information, write it down. You know what I mean? Because, like, once I remember I was talking to someone, her loved one passed away, and I was just got into the zone, just texting everything they were telling me. And I usually do voice clips, but this was just like in a zone of just, you know what I mean? And you just come out of it. It's like you're in like a trance. It's, you know what I mean? You're kind of like daydreaming, as they call it, right? You're here, but you're present, but your mind is elsewhere. So some ugly truths are coming out, which, that's what I'm talking about. There's healing taking place, and it's going to be up to you if you cut these people out of your life. I feel like you definitely will. You know what I mean? It's like you've done enough damage. I don't need, like, you know what I mean? You haven't been present. You're like just sparsely, like, you know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean? You made those choices. You know what I mean? It's your choice of what you do here. This is just guidance. You want to keep them in your life, but at arm's length, that's up to you. But I just don't feel like there's anything positive that can come out of this situation, to be honest. So temperance, it's like gaining more knowledge, you know what I mean, in this situation. So like, that's why I was feeling like healing is taking place, but like following your intuition as you gain this information. You don't have to call to action. You don't have to be like, I'm immediately going to do this, because sometimes we make decisions out of emotions because we're hurt at the moment. You got to let those things simmer. You got to let it settle. You got to wait until you're calm to make decisions. So don't, or maybe because we're emotional about it, it triggers us. We make a rash, decision, a rash call. You know what I mean? So just 444. I know what the 444 is for us. But in this situation, it's like doing everything. I feel like, because Sam is like gaining knowledge here, so it may be that, and again, you may be going to school, or again, there's something that you're interested, that you're investing your time and energy to. So when they say going back to school, doesn't necessarily mean, college or high school or anything like that. You know what I mean? For some of you, it does mean that. Studying, so with myself, getting my license again. So it's just like there's different ways of this. So when they tell you to call to dedicate your time to something, maybe there is time for you to do that, to invest your time. So maybe, like, if you have a little bit more free time and you're someone that needs to be kept busy, that's what they're calling for, investing your time into that, like as a solution, or so offering something to occupy your time, to settle your mind and exhaust you. So I got the Six of Cups in the upright position in my mind's eye. So this was a channeled card, as well as or this was just a channel card I'm thinking of yesterday. But this is, I don't feel like maybe you want them to come back up. You know what I mean? It's just like, whatever happened there, happened there. That was then, this is now, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just like not necessarily welcomed or required. So it'd be up to you if you let them in your life. And Mercury retrograde is about that, where people, from the past try to come in your life. And it's just like, like Anastasia told us, lessons have been learned. Do not be forced, scared, manipulated into situations you don't want to be in. And that includes having someone in your life. You make the choice, they made the choice to do what they did, as well as you. So, actions have reactions. So you treated me this way, this is my reaction. And you think that I'm going to forget everything? I may not speak of it. I may not do nothing about it. I let the universe take care of everything. There's no point in wasting my energy. There's far too much going on. This is the thing. I feel like they're manipulating and trying to force you into a situation. And this is where universe is like, we fill your cup. They tried to manipulate or do X, Y, and Z. We will go ahead and find a solution for this situation. You know what I mean? Because we fill your cup. We take care of you. We've always taken care of you. And you probably will see that throughout your whole life of cycles of that. Where you trust, let them, you know what I mean? This has happened before. This is a repeated cycle. And what did you do? So in my situation, I looked up to this guy and I said, God, I have no idea what's going to happen in this situation, but I trust in you. And within, what was that? Probably 2 months, there was an answer. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't have to. This is the whole point of them saying you do not have to exert your energy. Like, when you realize how much power you actually have, you know what I mean? And it's how freely we give it away, and how much we exhaust it and exhaust ourselves. This is why we're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted, I'm dragging. That's why. So let the universe fill your cup. So there's something going on here that you don't have to do anything in this situation. It's already been decided. It's already been done. You just, you know what I mean? They're just letting you know. You may not have all the information. I feel like this is something different. I just feel like it's an external situation. I don't feel like healing is taking place with this one. I just feel like it's going to happen, and just let it happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have all the information. You may gain more information as we move forward, but don't waste, like with myself, I'm like, okay, like, and I'm also like, okay, this'll happen. So you know what I mean? So it will affect certain situations, you know what I mean? But, I feel like this is where, we're doing all these positive things, and to keep doing them, but also keeping an eye on that, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, and doing things to prepare. So it's easy, you know what I mean? Because when the timing couldn't be worse, but it's like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? It's like, it's inevitable. So try to make it easy as possible. So 8 of Spears, they keep saying this is a minor message. So this is where I was like, pay attention to your channel message, to your dreams, to your For You pages, something that really, it will really, when it catches you, you know what I mean? It's like a song. You hear a beat or something, and you're like, I really like that. You know what I mean? And you keep listening to it. So with this, it catches your attention. So for myself, with the channel messages that I got, like, some of it doesn't, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it may not make sense now, but it may make sense in the future. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is where it could be Cupid's arrow for some Some of us, you know what I mean? It is, not looking for, but when you stop looking for it, it happens usually. But this is also like, like 3 weeks time. This could be someone coming into your life. So that's why I was like, someone's coming in, but this is from the past. Someone that you have a bond with, but it's like maybe there was a bond, but that bond is gone. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of Anastasia's words. Lessons have been learned. You do not have to repeat cycles. So this is where, again, the hermit is coming in. So that's what I was saying. Like, you don't have all the information, but more information is coming in here. This is where I feel like the Three of Swords comes in. The healing taking place. You know what I mean? It's just like... So one of my sources of information is Shane. I don't, sometimes when he is out and about, I don't know why or where. Maybe it's not for me to know, and that maybe that, like, again, like with the Two of Swords in reverse, you don't know the information, but, sit there and, I feel like just be open to receiving angel numbers, judgment, exactly what we were talking about, leveling up. So you may have felt this leveling up, or you can actually see it. You can actually feel it. If you're a healer and you do readings or any healing work, you could feel like, things are just coming a lot easier. You know what I mean? Like, it's very potent. So, you know what I mean? That's where you could tell, like, you've grown in that situation. And I feel like, again, going back to Sam, which I love when we do the Game of Thrones tarot cards, anytime you see him with books, it's like gaining knowledge, gaining resources, heightening your skills, broadening your skills. With his arms, definitely looks like the scales, like balance, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what they're saying, because this is something, you know what I mean? And obviously they're not in control of the situation, neither are we. We're doing the best we can, but it does affect a lot of things in that day. But where spirit was like today, okay, like, where they are, obviously there's things that, but at least we're prepared in that way. So we're trying to get other things done. Those are going to have to go on hold until this is taken care of, like, as the situation progresses. But that's all you can do. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. This is why I was saying, like, be mindful of your resting period and who you exhaust your energies to. Especially if you're in the northern hemisphere, it is a bit warmer. It's going to start cooling down from tomorrow. Oh, no, tomorrow's going to be hot again. Hotter. And then it'll start cooling down. But this is where they're saying you're not going to have rest. You know what I mean? But where you can, definitely do so. Find that time to rest, rejuvenate, hydrate, meditation. I'm still doing my sound healer, Cody, anxiety meditations, because it's like, when things I can't prepare or whatever, but it's like we're preparing as best as we can. Again, the situation is out of their hands, it's out of our hands. So we're doing the best we can to make it easy peasy lemon squeezy for them, but also making it easy peasy lemon squeezy for us. So that way we can, you know what I mean? It's just, it affects a lot of moving parts. But we'll do the best we can. That's all we can do. Like, this is not our first rodeo with this situation. I feel like Spirit, not only is this a rebirth and a new beginning for you, I feel like once this, you know what I mean? I feel, because retrograde finishes on the 22nd, it's like, this is where this new beginning starts. And it's like, every day is a new beginning. You don't have to wait for a certain time date on the calendar. Today is the 7/7 portal. Call in whatever energies that you need right now. So, like with myself, like, I was, having panic attacks, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm doing the best I can and not trying to absorb energies that don't belong to me, but also not putting energy into situations I have no control of, or I don't want no part of. It's just watching our behaviors as well. We're so quick to sit there and point out to the outside world, like, oh, this, but it's also our behaviors and what we do. So we got to change that. But calling upon that fire in you, strength is all about fire. You know what I mean? And it's like embracing that fire and being like, I got this. We can handle this. We're doing the best that we can. Whatever happens, happens. And you know what I mean? All of us always go to worst case scenarios, but it's just like, just find that peace and calm in yourself and be like, you know what? We'll take it with that situation. Apparently they're very nice people and, they go above and beyond. So I'm very thankful for that. But at the same time, the way that they're working gives us an opportunity to, take care of things as well. So, you know what I mean? It's like teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, where we're able to sit there and work with them and get this all taken care of. Love this last card. Your ship is about to come in, but more importantly, that the universe supports you. You may have significant people that have transformed, and those people are supporting you. Your archangels, legions of angels, guardian angels, your past loved ones, whomever you believe in, Yahweh, Yeshua, divine creator, Gaia, Mother Earth, call on them during this time where, with myself, I'm just like, I probably will be okay. I can't guarantee what's going to happen. I probably will, once I know definitely, start a bit later, but what can I do? I'm doing the best that I can with this situation. I did not ask for this. I was not looking for this. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And that it's like, that's all we can do, ask and you shall receive. So the universe knows what we need. All we got to do is ask. So I hope you enjoyed this quick card pull. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next quick card pull.